All right, welcome. And thank you for tuning in to episode 83 on the Healthy Runner podcast. And I am here with a special guest today. We have John Myers, who is the race director of the Apple Harvest Festival road race here in Southington, Connecticut. Welcome to the show, John.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. And thanks for your support, Dwayne.
Yeah, no, I am super excited to do this episode. This is definitely a special episode. Will be not like any other that we've had in the past. And I think it will give us a little bit more background on road racing, and we get to learn a little bit more about the Apple Harvest Road Race and can talk about all the special things that you're doing. And hopefully this gives our listeners something different to listen to, not a specific kind of running tip or running injury that we normally talk about on the podcast, but our running community, right? Because it's all about our running community that brings us together in kind of what we love to do, which is running, right? So the first question that we ask all our guests, John, is we do our little dynamic warm up here. So tell the listeners, who are you and where are you from and what do you do?
Sure, thanks. I guess for starters, I'm lucky I retired, so I didn't have to deal with the craziness of COVID in the work world. Retired in 2018, I was the executive director of the Southington Cheshire Community YMCA, so I had a fantastic career with a Y, right in my wheelhouse when our values and missions fit together. So I had a wonderful career, but retired in 2018, and so I continued on with a Y, though, coordinating the road race, which is now going on for 42 years. So it's a rich tradition in Southington.
Yes, indeed it is. Now, how long were you the executive director at the Cheshire Southington Y?
Yeah, so I started my career in '87 in Southington, worked my way through program director and camp director, and the last 20 years was the executive director.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. And for context, for those that don't know, I live in Cheshire, Connecticut, and Southington is our neighboring town. So our YMCA is kind of combined between the two towns, and they kind of collaborate and do a lot of the programming together. So yeah, I've definitely been involved in elements in both Cheshire as well as Southington, as well as run the Apple Harvest road race myself. And I guess, why don't we even start out with the Apple Harvest Festival for those that, maybe aren't even in Connecticut who are listening to this, or those that are not in the Southington Cheshire area. What is the Apple Harvest Festival all about?
So this is pure New England small town fair in the fall. The 2 weekends, Southington is mobilized on this Apple Harvest Festival. So it goes for 2 weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, ton of food booths. They got rides for the kids, but mostly it's a time when the town comes together to reconnect with one another. So it's really cool. And plus we get a ton of visitors from outside because it's a fun event. So the road race itself kicks off the first weekend. So we go down before the parade gets on. So a lot of people come down to see us as they get their chairs ready on the parade route.
Yeah. And for such kind of a smaller town, like you mentioned festival, you guys get a huge turnout. Like I remember my first one that I went to, I was like, wow, man, there are a lot of people here and people love those fritters. They like wait online forever for those apple fritters. That's a big thing, right? With this festival.
It's huge. The local church does it and they make a lot of money. They give back to the community, but that's the one area that's opened all week long. So you can get fritters, not just on the weekends, but during the week. I think they open at 6 a.m. and the lines go on forever, but you got to get the fritters.
So if you guys are coming down to Southington, yeah, definitely not before your run. This would not be good pre-run fuel. The fritters, get them after your run. But yeah, share with our listeners a little bit about the history of the road race. Like, how did it come about? I know you mentioned it's the 42nd annual road race, or festival itself, right?
Yes. Yeah. So the Chamber of Commerce started the race 42 years ago. And at that time, it was just a 5-mile race, just one event, and that was it. So over time, we've morphed, and I'll talk about that in a second, all the different parts of it. So the Chamber had a nice small town feel to it, a couple hundred runners. but it was a way to kick off the weekend there. And over time, we found that we can get more people involved with this. The 5 mile was a little tricky for people that are whether the couch to 5K people or people who just aren't ready for 5 miles. So we added a 5K in, and it took off. We do a 2 mile walk for those who can't handle the run and aren't ready for the run, would just rather walk. We have our little fritter fun run. So this is like the fan favorite out there. We had up with 250 or so small children, ages 2 to 7, 8, 9, and they run around the town green. And so that's really cool.
Yeah. No, that's great to get them active at a young age.
Yeah.
And I think I saw, right, you are also having the Y Cup,
The
right,
Y Cup,
coming
yes.
back. And
Yes.
I remember my girls participating in that in Cheshire when we used to do that in Cheshire. And that was, as a parent, that was a fun event, watching them participate in that. What is the Y Cup?
So the Y Cup's morphed a little. Originally, we had it as a relay in the 5K. So 3 kids would run, they each run a mile, and hand off the baton at the different parts there. But it got a little tricky, and we're putting young kids out on the course by themselves. So we are now putting as just a 1 mile run. They run the last mile of the 5K. We get them out there nice and safe. We let the faster runners run by, and then we kick them off. So they just run that last mile, and they get to finish everyone gets to finish underneath the arch at the finish line. So it's pretty cool. And it's well controlled and safe for everyone there that way.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So there's definitely, events for the whole family. The kids can get involved, have these fun runs, which is really neat because you are running that this year, right? The kids races and the fun run.
Absolutely. Cool. Yes. Yep. That's what's the best thing about this year. Last year we did the virtual way, and we had great support. We still had probably 500-600 people involved, but it's not the same. I mean, as a runner, you want to get out there. We got to get around people. We got to talk it up. We got to just feel it. So we're real excited to take over the streets of Southington again, with all our events.
Yeah, no, that's definitely exciting. I know for myself, I just ran my first in-person race here in Cheshire for the Cheshire Half. And like you said, it's definitely, the virtual stuff. I did a bunch of them really just to keep the motivation going with training, because I knew I needed to maintain my mental sanity and, continue training and running.
Yeah.
And one way to do that was to set some goals, right? With some, virtual races, but it's definitely not the same. Like you said, getting out within our running community is huge. And I think we all need that. And, you had mentioned some of the kids races, but then I think you also mentioned, so this road race is a 5K and a 5 miler, correct?
Right. Yeah. We call the 5 mile our classic because that was the original one. And I used to say in our description that it was flat and fast. And the runners come back and say, well, it's not exactly flat, John.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, but it's nice. You go through the streets of Southington, you go out a little bit kind of in the countryish area there. So it is a really nice course, but I wouldn't say it's really flat though. The 5K is a lot flatter. We take a left midway through, so we don't go through the rolling hills there, but the 5K is very flat. It's very easy to follow.
Yeah, I would agree. Having run that myself, I ran the 5K 2 years and the 5 miler, which was definitely challenging. And you get some really competitive runners who run this race.
Yeah, we do.
I was surprised at that 5 miler. I thought I'd rank a little higher, and I was like, wow, man, I got smoked. I got smoked by a bunch of people. Yeah. So there's been some big time runners who've done this race before, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, the most famous it's run is Bill Rogers. So we've had Bill 4 or 5 times now running the race. Met him at different races when he does his autograph thing. And one time up at Hyannis, I just say, hey, Bill, do you do local races too? What's the deal on that? And he asked where I was from. And he goes, oh my gosh, my sister lives in Southington. I'm from Newington. I know Southington. Let's do this. So next thing I know, I got Bill Rogers coming to our little apple harvest race in Connecticut. And ever since then, I've been able to develop a pretty decent friendship with Bill. Love it when he comes back. And if you ever met him before, he's challenging because he wants to talk to everyone for a long time. So I got to kind of keep people moving on, but he'll get in. So tell me about your journey. How you doing? How you feeling? And like, he just really locks in on every individual, even if the
Oh,
line
that's cool.
like from Southington to Chester, you're still talking to that same person. So we're we're moving it along.
That's pretty neat. And for those younger listeners out there and who maybe aren't from the area and are familiar with Bill Rogers, but he is pretty much one of one of the founding gods of running, and was an Olympian, record holder in the marathon.
Mhm.
He ran Boston, won it 3 straight years, I believe, as well
Yep.
as New York City.
Right.
So this was between the years I was born in 76 to 1980. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't hear about him back then, but I've definitely learned about him and his name, living up here in Connecticut. Now I'm originally from New York, so I wasn't familiar with Bill Rogers, but I've heard a lot about him, and that's pretty neat that he's run this race multiple times.
So yeah, he appreciates that the local road races are really the foundation for the running boom and all that. While there are these massive events out there, whether it's Peachtree or there, tens and tens of thousands of runners, these nice small community races. This is what we need going on. We need to get everyone out moving and healthy, and so he keeps that message going, which really resonates. And for us who grew up with him, saying, "Oh my gosh, it's Bill Rogers right in front of us," that's nuts. Like,
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I love that. And, that's what we're all about here at Healthy Runner. So I don't know, maybe one of these days we need to get Bill Rogers on the podcast and spread some of his healthy message of getting out there. Right.
I'm sure he would do it. He will never say no to something like that. I'd be happy to reach out to him for that. He'd enjoy that.
Oh, that'd be amazing. So let's talk about, this road races. Yes, we are all runners. If we're listening to this right now, we're going to have many runners listening to this on their run. They're getting after putting their training in, and we love the running part. But where does, race registration, where does the money and the funds that go into this race, where does all of that go to?
Yeah, it's another thing the Y does, just giving back to the community. And this was one of those opportunities we had as a big event. We'll end up, depending on weather and all that, so we could have 1,800, 2,000 people in all the different events combined. So it's a pretty decent size. That coupled with our sponsors, so we're able to make a decent amount of money that we take and just funnel right back to the community. Folks that are going through tough times, could be individuals, it could be a death in the family, a multitude of reasons why people have all of a sudden faced a new challenge in their life. So we're able to help people out, which is really cool. So the money goes right back, and I think our local community really appreciates that it's not just going into someone's pocket. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah,
And that's what I love about, these races is, so many, are going to good causes and to support different
yeah,
causes. But, a race like this is going like directly back into the Southington community
man,
and
right.
our local community. So I just love that. And what are some of the other kind of, community components to the race and like involvements? I saw you had a bunch of different teams, right, that are associated
Yeah.
with this race. What's that
Yeah,
about?
that started a little while back. So a local girl in town, Lauren Asola, she was a Y member swimmer, had graduated, was down in Pennsylvania, and tragically died in a car accident. And her mom still lived up here in Southington, and she wanted to continue her legacy. So she asked about forming Team Lauren. And so we set it up that they could register through our site. We charge more money, so some of the money, extra money they made, goes to Team Lauren, which is a scholarship for local high school kids in Southington. So there's like two different fundraisers going on at the same time. But the last time she had like 140, 150 people on Team Lauren alone out in the race. I mean, some are walkers, some are runners, but they're all wearing the same shirts, so you can feel it. It's very emotional. They're there, so that's kind of kicked off the community teams.
Wow,
Last
that's
year,
great.
even with the virtual race, last year we had Team Tyler, Tyler Chamberlain. Sadly passed away too, and his sister said, "I want to keep his legacy going." And in a virtual year, had over 100 people participate. And we actually did a separate little walk, run, socially distanced last year just with Team Tyler. So this is out there. If others want to form a team and we can help facilitate that to honor and remember someone, we can do that pretty easily.
Wow, that's an amazing way to, honor someone's legacy and to be able to, turn that into something that is sustainable for the future. And I love those scholarships that are set up. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love everything about that. Unfortunately, having lost people close to me this past year, it's definitely a difficult time for everyone coping. And I just love seeing things like this, that, you're able to turn something that is so tragic and be able to help others, right? And be able to create something that's sustainable over time. And I think that's great that the Apple Harvest, road race does help facilitate that, and be able to help those causes and be able to really allow their legacy really to live on. So I think that's pretty neat. Any other volunteer opportunities, if someone wanted to get involved with the race, they're local here, any ways that they can help out?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that. I think one of our successes is because that we have a boatload of volunteers. You need 120, 130 volunteers each year to really get this done and maximize the runner's experience out there. So we have our volunteer opportunities from being, road marshals to refreshments, to set up, to finish line area, water stops, and the like. So if folks want to volunteer, we'd love to have you. You got a cool T-shirt. You also get to be there right on there and watching the runners go by it too, which is neat. So if they're interested, they can get directly to me, and I can make sure our volunteer coordinator gets them into a great spot.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. So I think you guys can see, for those that are just jumping on here, I am with John Myers, the race director of the Southington Apple Harvest Road Race. And as you can see, this race is pretty special. I've definitely, as I mentioned, kind of run this race before, and I was excited when, John and I connected to talk about how our healthy runner community can kind of participate and, be a community partner. And as everything that kind of John's described about this race, I think you could see why this was an easy answer for me, to say like, hey, like everything you guys believe in, we believe in, healthy runner. It makes sense to be able to, contribute. And, John and I spoke, and, I'm excited to be kind of the community partner with you guys for this race, as we kind of kick off this comeback year after everything that 2020 brought us.
Right. So yeah, we appreciate that, because that's huge. There are folks that just need to get moving, and you got the great inspiration and motivation for that. So that is awesome. I mean, you can't help but get fired up after hearing you. So I'm hoping people are tuning it up and saying like, I'm going out for a run right now. And at the same time, we have folks who are like kind of in that plateaued, they've just been hanging out in their area and they want to get faster, they're stronger, whatever. And you guys can provide that assistance and help too. So as you said, it just all comes together. It's perfect on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. So what John's kind of talking about is this week that we just kind of announced and launched, and we are in full-blown enrollment week right now for our next round of our Team Healthy Runner program. And this is our first ever 5K program. So this is the program that we've done 4 different cohorts, getting, runners to be able to either run their first half marathon or get a PR, right? We've had many runners, run their personal best. And now we're super excited to have our team of Healthy Runner coaches be able to provide this in for the 5K race and be able to help out our 5K runners and our new runners and beginner runners. And our coach, Kat, part of our team, she's very passionate about Couch to 5K program, and she's helped many runners with this before. So she is like our Couch to 5K expert. So I know she's super excited about this. And I'm just really excited to be able to help, right, the 5K runner. And so with this program, guys, for our team-based program, it really provides you the structure, the run plan, the strength plan, and the community support that you need to be able to crush your 5K goals. If you're here local in Connecticut, we would love to have you register for the Southington Apple Harvest Road Race. As we kind of mentioned, it's a great local race. You get that great New England feel to it. So even those that are listening out of state, hey, you guys want to take a trip, do a little road trip, come to New England in October. It's a great time of the year. Maybe you'll catch some fall colors as you come to New England and check out this road race. One thing I must say, John, is I definitely love your post-race food. Like they have some great food. I love the post-race spread. It's all about the food at road races, isn't it?
It is. And we've been lucky. We have a great supportive community. So local restaurants, whether it's the Fireplace or the Pepper Pie at the El Sombrero, I mean, they're all giving us big pots of whatever, of food and soups and chilies. And yeah, we always said there's enough refreshments that you need to go for a run after you go through the line. But
yeah, I know the chili I love, especially if it's a little chilly day that, that day and that morning, it's like the chili is like perfect for that. So yeah, I think back to kind of, my apple harvest moment, if you will. I actually pulled it out of my room before because I knew we were doing this. I don't know if you guys can see with my screen.
Nice,
there we go.
There you go.
Little trophy there. So this was back in 2014. I was lucky enough to be able to place third in my age group. So I don't get many trophies, but there are some that I have in my collection, and that was a special year for me. So I ran a 2011, and that was probably like my third fastest 5K time that I've run. And that was super exciting for me. I just remember that moment. That was pretty cool. And yeah, the course, I would agree with what you said before, is pretty fast. It's a pretty fast and flat course, and it's at a great time of the year in early October. So for those of you looking to run a fast 5K, this fall, this would be the race to do it and if you are interested in getting, like I said, the training that we talked about before, John is actually nice enough for anyone who's listening to this on Facebook right now. If you guys are listening to this and you're like, hey, I need to get a 5K on my calendar this fall, and you sign up for our Team Healthy Runner training group, we're going to take care of your race registration. So if you want a free race registration, just type in me into the comment box. And if you sign up for our training group, I will shoot you the link to that. And then we'll get your race registration all taken care of. Compliments of John here.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, so when you ran in 2014, did we have 5 mile and 5K running starting at the same time? So
yes.
So since that time, we've separated out so that we didn't get that log jam at the end. So this way, they almost match up, like the fastest 5 miles and 5Ks kind of come in at the same time, and they kind of meld in together. So it really helped to finish it off better, because sometimes a fast 5 milers were getting into a slower 5K area, and they had to zigzag around, and that didn't go over that well. So we learned over time, but I think you'll like that better, that we have two different, it's 15 minutes apart, but logistically it helps the whole race out.
Yeah, no, that's great. They made some alterations and some changes there. I love it. And I do love the finish where you finish on kind of that main road there.
Yes.
And, there's all people around, and it's kind of cool. Like it is a small time race, but like you said, it gets pretty good turnout and pretty good numbers. And the crowd is, very supportive, especially there at the end, as you're really pushing it. You got a little motivation to really sprint to the finish line there.
Man, we got one of our sponsors is DJ Butch Gray. So Butch will be playing, motivational songs as you go into it. I mean, it's just a real festive atmosphere when you're down there. So once you get near the area of the start and finish, you can just instantly feel it. So
I love it. So yeah, John, you shared a bunch of great kind of information about the Southington Apple Harvest Road Race. Is there anything else that we didn't really touch upon that you wanted to mention to our listeners?
Sure, thanks. Well, a couple of these. One on more information. If you're Facebook folks, we have a site called Southington Runners. So just check us out there. And on there, starting now, you see every day there's going to be something different. So on Monday, you've seen that we have the Monday Spark with Dwayne. So get you kicked off for the week with some motivation and start the week off strong. Tuesday Tunes with Butch Gray. So we're getting you some good running tunes to go with. We got some Wednesday motivation. Thursday, two of our Y staffers, Elisa Del Monte and Gina Levesque, they provide us with some healthy recipes to
Cool.
balance off there too. So we know this whole fitness thing is not all just about running, and also keep the nutrition side going there. Then we'll have photo flashback days and the like. So every day you'll get a little taste of something to keep you motivated, keep the carrot in front of you. So check out Southington Runners, which is pretty cool. And then the Y website itself has a separate race page. So you can see previous results, you can see pictures, you can get training tips. Dwayne, you're going to have a tab up there too for all of your great information. So that another great resource for runners to go check out, nutritional tips, training tips, and the like. So,
Excellent. So in Facebook there, visit the Southington YMCA page, and then also in groups, that is going to be the Southington Runners. So that's Facebook group. And like John said, I'll be there showing up live on Mondays mornings to kind of keep everyone motivated who's running the Apple Harvest Festival. So I'm excited to do that. And yeah, I'm really excited to, be a partner with this race and, be there on race day. And I hope to see as many healthy runners as possible at this race, and we can represent well here in Connecticut. For those that are listening to this on Facebook and you guys are local in Connecticut, let me know if you are running the Apple Harvest road race. Let us know in the comment box if you are running that. And I see that Coach Whitney is here, Coach Lou is here, and Coach Latoya is here. So Coach Lou and Coach Latoya will be at the race on October 3rd, correct?
Yes. Hard to believe it. 2 months away is how fast this is going. So now is the time to start training and getting ready, right?
Indeed, yes. So 8 weeks of training starts next week, guys. So that's why if you want to get in our Team Healthy Runner group, our training group, we're kicking it off next week. So enrollment closes this Friday. So if you are listening to this on the podcast, that is literally tomorrow. If you're listening to this on the Thursday drop of the podcast. So get in. We got to get you enrolled, onboarded, get your custom plan, get you with your run coach to really develop your plan for the 8 weeks so you can be able to crush your 5K goal. John, this has been great. I love hearing some of the history. And I guess one question I didn't ask you, what is next on your running bucket list?
Well, I have a couple of things. I'm a streaker. So
Wow.
I'm closing on 3,400 straight days of running. So I have that. So that's always in the back of my mind. So got to run at least a mile a day. Some days are pretty slow, but check them off. So that, and I'm also trying to get up to 100 marathons eventually. I'm at 88 now. So.
Wow, that is super impressive. Holy cow, 88 marathons. Wow, and you've been pretty healthy along the way?
Well, yeah, for the most part, I've had moments, but yeah,
that is
like
great.
Any other runner, you just kind of you work through it and you get there. So
that is wow. That I think that is a great way to kind of finish off the show here. Is just looking at 88 marathons. Wow, that is. I'm just like at awe, honestly. Yeah. If I can get to 8 marathons, that'd be like big.
Yeah. Well, and now it's finishing them. There was a time when I was actually trying to run them for some decent time, but it's finishing now. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Come on the
Thank
show,
you.
educate us about the Southington Apple Harvest Road Race. Guys, check them out. Check out in the show notes. I'll have the links to the website where you can learn more about the road race, as well as the link to sign up for our Team Healthy Runner 5K training program, as well as the Southington Runners Facebook group link that John mentioned, where you can get all those tips, all those recipes, all that goodness
Great.
for the next 8 weeks to get you ready for your Apple Harvest Road Race. So thanks again, John. I
You
appreciate you
got it.
coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All
Thanks,
right,
everyone.
guys. As always, stay active, stay healthy, and just keep running. Until next time.